Welcome to the Thriving Tides podcast. I'm Stephanie.
And I'm Julianne. If you're an entrepreneur or busy individual looking for self-care ideas, you're in the right place.
And we can't wait to share our experiences with you. In today's episode, we welcome Tom and Dan from the Burly Farmers. Since 2018, Tom and Dan have been using underappreciated green space within city limits to feed their customers. They pride themselves on being untraditional farmers. They farm using the smallest carbon footprint possible, all while using every sustainable and organic practice they can apply. When push comes to shove, they are here to provide the tastiest and the freshest produce grown in the way as it should be, in 1.5 acres or less. Editing Steph here. In this episode, we ventured out of the closet and into the greenhouse. Just like when gardening, that weather can be just a little bit unpredictable, and sadly we got some rain. So for the first 20 to 30 minutes of this episode, there might be some slight audio abnormalities as it captures the rain and the wind. So please enjoy this unique start to the episode. Welcome to the greenhouse! Not the closet today, and it's also raining, so you're going to get a little bit of ASMR.
Yeah, we're going to do our best for sound quality. Bear with us. We did not order the rain.
No. It's supposed to be a nice day. I don't even know.
Yeah, but new setup tonight. Yeah. So if you're watching us on YouTube, you'll see we're sitting here with two wonderful burly men, also known as the Burly Farmers. So Tom and Dan are here with us today. We're really excited, and we thought it was very fitting to sit in the greenhouse and talk about their business, talk about plants, and they might, give Steph some tips on all the stuff she's got growing in here. Critique her a little bit, in a loving way.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you guys for saying yes to being here. We've been
thanks for having us.
We've been talking about this for a little bit. Yeah. That's very cool. So tell us, what is the Burly Farmer? What do you guys do?
Oh, yeah, he points at me. What do we do? We're a small-scale urban farm in Charlottetown, Prince Edward Island, and we've been outgrowing your grandmother since 2018, so...
Yes. Can you get that on a t-shirt, please?
I will get that
someday.
We have a large amount of t-shirts.
We got a couple more planned so far, but yeah.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, no, it's fun. This man approached me, 5 years ago.
I guess so, yep.
A beer or two and standing over my fence, and he goes, "We could farm part of that." And I was like, "I think you're crazy." And here we are.
Wow.
We've grown 7,500 pounds of food off 3/8 of an acre last year. So
amazing.
This year we want to double that if we can.
Yeah. Very cool.
That's awesome.
And did you know each other before this conversation?
Yeah, we know each other from the raucous work of bouncing in local bars. So, we did like a 180 in our life together, right? So it's interesting.
I mean, it makes sense. It works.
Exactly. Yeah. And you guys have jobs outside of the Burly Farmer too, hey?
Yeah, I work full time.
Yeah.
And Dano did up until
basically a couple weeks ago, but I'm still a dad now too. So
Well, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, change one for the other.
Dad is a job too.
Yeah, it really can. So and I'm focusing a lot this year on what we're trying to accomplish. But
that's wonderful. Yeah. That's a big, scary transition to make.
Sure is.
Of letting go of the steady paycheck and saying, okay, we've got to grow enough vegetables to make sure this works for us.
And just, we've already been able to feed ourselves, but then we're able to feed another couple dozen families along the way for the whole summer, if not 6 months, right? So
absolutely.
Now we're just trying to figure out and hone it in.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, we're feeding you.
You are
feeding
right?
So,
literally.
This is your second year that,
I'm on the CSA box yet again, which I'm very excited for. And it's, it got us to try new things too, because you're growing things that wouldn't be traditional to me to put in my own garden. So it just kind of broadens our horizons. Gets Dave eating more vegetables.
Awesome.
That's a great thing.
That boy, Dave. Yeah.
Way to go, Dave.
Yeah.
I'm so proud.
So you made a hacker ride today.
Yeah. What is this? A white radish?
Yeah.
Kind of a turnip. You're just like, no.
Don't worry about it. No. Don't worry about it.
So for those who don't know, what is a CSA box?
A CSA is what it stands for essentially is community supported agriculture. What it boils down to for most people is a veggie box, though. So it's a weekly veggie box. Some people have eggs, some people have bread. For us, it's
pure veg.
Yeah, it's pure vegetables.
Yeah, which is really great. And they have a great little spot to go pick it up too. If you're driving on what's Mount Edward Road? No,
Brackley
Point Road. you might see their sign. So keep an eye out for it. Because I think too, you also allow people just to stroll up on the weekends. Or are you going to do that
excess,
this year?
Yeah, we usually have an excess of vegetables, and we set up a little stand right there just to actually, supply the surplus. And then we donate as well as much as we can. So anything, instead of just wasting it, we donate it down to the community fridges, or there's planned out donations for the mount.
Oh, great. Yeah. Right. Because you just put up your own greenhouse.
Yes, we did.
At the Mount.
We did. Yeah.
Tell us about that project.
That was a project. I mean, free shipping sounds awesome, but let's just say our greenhouse kit didn't originate in Canada, and you could tell when we were building it. So screw holes stopped lining up about the third rib in, and it's not our fault. No. So
there doesn't matter how many times you repiece things together. It just
wasn't going to
line up. No, it wasn't going to line up. So I'm glad we stopped following the directions.
Yeah.
And we just started building it, and it worked out great. I mean, we had a lot of help along the way, and there's a lot more to putting up a structure like that than you probably think of at the beginning.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
So, it's not going anywhere now. It's anchored in the ground now. So it's, it's full of little plant babies. So that's where it's going to be.
We filled it 5 days ago, 470 plants. So we've got tomatoes, super hot peppers, and basil in there right now. So, yeah.
You love your super hot peppers.
Love the super
They're
hot
so
peppers.
fun to grow. They're so fun to grow. They're not great to eat, but we've eaten everything we've ever grown.
Yes.
So
Okay.
And that's how you kind of learn to enjoy it, right? It's a different connection whenever you do end up growing it yourself. And then it's just like cooking for yourself, right? Once you start to cook for yourself, you're just like, I've never eaten this before. But because you made it, you'll eat it, right?
Yeah.
And it's just same idea applies to gardening, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. There's that sense of pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really is. Yeah.
That's very cool. So what experience did you have in farming before? Like when we were setting up, you mentioned a mutual friend, Peter from Van Camping. That's kind of helped you along the way. Shout out to our buddy.
Yeah. Thank you, Peter. For yeah. Big thanks, bud. Yeah.
God bless you.
Yeah, exactly.
What else did that look like? You're just like, okay, we've got this idea. We discussed it over a beer. We're going to do it. Now what?
I grew tomatoes my first year. My sister started some for me because I actually had a hernia surgery. So I had to sit still. And anybody that knows Dan, I do not sit still.
How did you do that?
Well. So that year I ended up growing my tomatoes 10 feet tall. And I was just curious, what else can I try to experiment with and grow? And then Tom, same idea, he started to, he did his raised beds, the same idea as your backyard here, and tried to feed himself that year, right?
Yeah.
And it just grew from there, no pun intended, right? Like, it's kind of funny how it just worked.
Yeah.
And trial and error.
Yeah. I mean, I listened to the plant therapy episode you guys did, and I think what was it, growth development you touched on? Yeah. You have to be ready to accept failure in gardening, right? If you go into it with this, I'm going to do so awesome. Yeah. You're pretty well screwed from the beginning, right? So, especially when it's your first try, I mean, you just got to take what you get and learn from what you did wrong. Right. And managing expectations in that way is really important. So,
exactly. I say you're looking at one of my failures behind you right now. So.
There's no failure in here yet. It's too early to call it a failure.
Yeah, it's like, how do we bring it back to life?
Too much water. Them apart and you're watering them too much.
Yeah, definitely.
My cheat sheet for a lot of this stuff, lift it.
Yeah.
If it's heavy, it's too wet. If it's dry, it's super light, right?
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
Like just you learn kind of that little balance. And that's how I've kind of... Yeah.
YouTube hasn't seen the failure.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
We put them there to hide them.
Yeah.
And in a couple weeks' time, you'll show it again, and it'll be brought back.
Exactly.
Beautiful.
So,
we're gonna do a 180 here with the failure.
Yeah.
But it's good to start to learn to recognize those things, but until you experience it, you don't know, right?
Totally.
Like you can look at that and know, overwatered for sure.
I grow some pretty cool cucamelons, and some people know what they are. They're like mouse melons, another name. Yeah, they're tiny little things. And the first year I grew them, I killed them over and over and over again. And when I Googled it, it's like cucamelon, easy thing to start. And I was like,
no, it's not.
Are you kidding me? Yeah. So like, it's just, don't quit on it, right? Don't just be like, well, I'm done. So like, I've got like 70 of them going right now.
Yeah.
Right? Like you learn as you go. What works better? How would you actually start it differently? Things like that, right? And I used to actually go and do the germination and all that jazz, but Now I've just learned all these other little tricks. Now
Yeah.
burying the seed with water, things like that, right? Changes the game.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's so different, like, to whatever, like, zone you are into. I
Yes.
find as well, because, like, there's, like, some rules for certain vegetables that if you're in this zone, they'll do better at this time
Yep.
and so far. So, like,
Mhm.
how did you, besides Peter, find out all this information? Like, did you just kind of...
A little
Trial
bit of
and
both
error?
in
Yeah.
reality. It was trial and error, and then Peter.
Yeah.
Because like if we couldn't figure out something or had some type of insect, we could go and ask him because he's dealt with it up to that point, right?
Trying to Google like yellow beetle
Yeah.
doesn't get you very far on a day-to-day
So-
basis.
No. Yeah.
Oh.
Sometimes it's nice to ask people who
Yeah.
may know.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's, gardening and growing food in general brings this sense of community. Like, as soon as you find another plant nerd, you're like, we're friends now, but like, even if we aren't friends,
Yeah.
because we're growing food and we can always kind of bash that back and
Yeah.
forth, right? So,
Yeah,
Yeah.
very true.
Well, I even felt that at the so we went to your Buds and Suds event at
Seeds and
Seeds
Suds.
and Suds.
Buds and Suds.
That's good.
If
Well, I mean,
PEI,
that would work too.
if PEI Cannabis wants to host us, we will be there
There
too.
you go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Seeds and Suds.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. But
then- Suds and Buds.
Nothing
Buds
to
and
do with
Suds,
seeds.
Buds,
No, 0 seeds in that whole title.
yeah,
Yeah.
everybody shows up and there's like,
That's
See, I
so
did
where's
not
the
have that
plants,
written on
guys?
my notes. Come on, I'm not getting high here. But there's so many plant nerds at that event.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
incredible.
It was
right?
actually
Like,
wild. It kind of
it was
blew our
probably
minds a little
overwhelming
bit.
at sometimes
Yeah.
because people just wanted to soak up all the knowledge
Yeah.
from you, or
And
just
again,
like
thank
tell
you,
you
Peter.
about their cool plants and
Yeah.
yeah.
I had a dude flipping a notepad out at me.
Oh,
I
yeah.
was like, I was not emotionally prepared
You
to be
prepared
doing
questions.
this right
Yeah.
now. I had 3 beer in the parking lot to
Yeah.
get the courage to put this event on. And you have a notepad and you want me to dictate tomato culture to you. Like, whoa, man. Like,
It's intense.
I'm already.
I hope he's listening.
I'm going to go for some air.
There's the
I'm going to go
notepad
for
guy.
some air.
Yeah, need to breathe.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it truly is. It does feel like a culture, and I know, like Stephanie's mentioned that she's in a few different like Facebook groups, and people just want to help each other grow and grow things. Yeah,
I was gonna say it's probably one of the best things to do if you're into like you just moved somewhere. Go into like the gardening community because I feel like everyone's really accepting that.
They're excited to actually bring people
Yeah,
in, right?
yeah.
You're showing your free time into something that it's not just a hobby anymore. It's a way of life. Like,
Yeah,
it sounds
exactly.
crazy, but every family back in the day used to do this, or every second household used to do this. We were talking about this earlier, that dandelions, which a lot of us don't even really know.
Yeah.
There's so many different actual uses for them.
Yeah.
We haven't really started to experiment with them yet, but that possibly is why dandelions are everywhere, because people actually used to use them for something back in the day, either a tea or we learned to make coffee
Yeah,
from the
I
root.
learned to make dandelion
Like,
coffee.
you're just like,
Yeah.
yeah.
You can pickle them apparently too.
Yeah, I heard the oil is
Yeah.
useful too. Like,
Yeah.
if you get the
Like,
oil
that's
out
There's a
of
whole
them.
bunch of things.
And they're everywhere.
everywhere.
And they're
Like,
good for the
yeah.
bees, so
Yeah.
don't mow your lawn
And then
yet.
there's pollinator parts to
Speaking
it, right?
directly
Yeah.
to the bees.
Yeah.
We love you, bees.
We see you, bees.
That's cool. And you have volunteers that help you out too, right? Like sometimes I drive by
We
and
got
there's
lots
people
of-
helping out, or you host workshops for people to come and learn.
We did a
Yeah.
workshop last year. They were a great group. I was really excited. We were really excited about it. We do have a lot of friends and family that are ready to pitch in when we need a couple extra hands. I mean, we're not getting any younger, and 37 yards of compost is a lot of shoveling and wheelbarrowing. And to be able to give people, a pizza and a couple beer and then be content with coming to help, it's
Or even just the knowledge sometimes. Sometimes they're just
It's
asking
true,
us what they would do at home. So
Yeah.
yeah. And that's
Yeah.
I'll trade that every day of the week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just find a win for all,
Yeah.
right?
Pretty
Right?
much.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So how did you find like scaling up to be like through your business? Because I'm sure you started small, like your one tomato plant,
Yeah, we're dirt
and then
farmers
like
for
now
years.
Yeah, we
exactly
were-
like
we-
dirt
yeah.
farming, and then to like actually scale it up to like a full-fledged like boxing business. What was that like?
Well, I think one of the biggest challenges was accepting the fact that we could grow enough food to meet the demand that we were hoping to get, right? Because when you're starting as a urban farm, which we're the only one on Prince Edward Island right now, and also in Charlottetown, where I feel a lot of folks are kind of programmed to go to a grocery store as opposed to maybe the farmer's market or somewhere else. That was our biggest challenge, was being like, listen, we could be selling 20 veggie boxes out of here a week if we just dial a few things in.
Yeah.
And then I found the idea of a CSA, which was not something I was familiar with. And I approached Dana with the idea. I said, listen, let's try and get 8 people on board at the start of the season, that they're committed to us, we're committed to them. And, there's a lot of anxiety with doing that. You take a bunch of people's money, and, I mean, I'm looking you in the face right now, Julie. You have your money, and it's spent, so I hope I can feed you
better
later.
deliver.
Yeah. Like, I hope we can feed you later, And that's the thing with growing food, right? Like, especially with us, we don't spray, we don't use pesticides, so
we use nothing.
We use nothing. It's
whatsoever.
completely up in the air, right?
Yeah.
Like a good crop of flea beetles will wreck our whole 3 weeks of lettuce.
Sure
so,
will.
Yeah.
those things can happen overnight too.
So,
We've seen it.
We
So,
do a lot of beneficial insects and things like that, and or insect mixes to try to bring and balance the system in a natural fashion, right?
and we might be buying a praying mantis. this
And
year.
we're definitely buying a praying mantis this year.
Cool.
Probably
Yeah.
a couple. Yeah.
That's
Just
interesting.
they're little things that you can
Yeah.
add into what you do, right?
Right.
Or like ladybugs. And
Like
stuff.
ladybugs, right?
Yeah.
There's lots of ladybugs around, or like you said, the bumblebees. Like you can plant. What are we doing? Phacelia, pretty
Yeah.
much everywhere on the outskirts of all our fields this year, just because we know it brings a ton of bees.
Yeah.
So like you can influence it in many different ways. Lacewings. If you plant dill and let it flower, it provides an area for all lacewings, dragonflies, and all those aggressive insects to bear birth, and then they continue to come back. And they, again, dragonfly eats 10 times its weight of mosquitoes per day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Right? Like, those little things really help. That's our trick.
We do nothing really. We put seeds in the ground. We hope Mother Nature helps us out.
Remember to water it.
Yeah,
Remember to
we
water
water it and we change it when it needs to
Yeah.
be changed, and then we hope we're doing things enough that Mother Nature
Yeah.
will help us out.
Yeah.
Essentially,
I think
like,
you're really downplaying your skills there, Tom.
not downplaying it. I guess I'm just trying to be modest about it.
Yeah.
The fact that like there's a bazillion organisms helping us get the job
Yeah.
done.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
not alone.
We don't till, right?
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
We're Broad Fork. We've done this. This will be our second year, but we found that just the Broad Fork alone not only improved plant growth, but the amount of insects we had to deal with. I think we lost like 4 beds last year.
Yeah.
Right at the beginning, that was it.
So for those listeners, what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because we have a lot of probably new people.
Excuse me. So the no-till practice is basically that we don't till up the soil. So a conventional home gardener typically goes running to find a tiller of some kind in May to pound their ground into this dust, add compost and peat moss. We stopped doing that 2 years ago. So all we do is we use a big specialized tool called the Broad Fork. So essentially it's a 30-inch wide pitchfork that you would stand on. So we break the crust of the soil to aerate it and to let a little bit of organic matter go down into that soil, but we're not ever tilling it up past what a rake would do to it.
Oh, okay.
So we're keeping the life in the soil at all times. So what a lot of people don't realize is when you flip that soil, you're potentially bringing up 6 to 10-year-old weed seed that's been sitting down there dormant every
Or
time
other
you flip it.
insects or other
Yeah.
fun creatures.
Mm.
And any nutrients, now you've stuffed it 6 to 10 inches into the ground.
Yeah.
Where the
Right.
plant needs it in the first couple inches for the first couple weeks anyway. So
Right.
why would you do that, right?
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
little, and yeah, it's when I first saw this again, like the other idea, I was like, so we're doubling our workload on prepping fields, yay! Like,
Yeah.
Can't
But
wait.
We're doubling the yield out of those fields now.
So
So,
like
Right.
in anything in life, if you know you put twice the effort in, you get twice the yield. Why not, right?
yeah.
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 So-
And that isn't usually an equal reward.
It is. It
No,
never is,
typically
right?
no.
No.
Painting a house with a paintbrush as opposed to a roller is not a good time.
No, it's
No.
Yeah.
get forearms like Karate Kid though.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. That's where you call in the friends and family.
Yeah.
see?
Hi guys, I got 19
Help
brushes.
us.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a great
We can
day.
do this.
Yeah.
All the pizza and beer. That's too funny. So sustainable farming is kind of the through line of what you do too then, right? Like what I'm hearing
Yeah,
you say is
it's-
you don't want to use chemicals or
Well,
things
and
like that.
Our first pitch of all of this was we actually started to use unused parts of Charlottetown.
Yeah.
These are front lawns. These are pieces of land like the one next to my house has been sitting there as a grass area for 50-something years. And before that was a cow patch. But since then it's sat there, right? Like there's parts of Charlottetown, Victoria Park, you name it, that, you know, if this was done on a larger scale and actually was funded, you could feed parts of Charlottetown, like off anything unused in Charlottetown
Yeah.
instead of mowing it. Like
Yeah.
that was our full, like we just attempted to do something and We won the sustainability award 2 years because of that.
Cool. That's awesome.
And that is, that is something that we're really trying to, again, prove. Yes, our scale is going a little bit more hardcore than somebody really wants to take on. However, anybody going and even attempting like you here, but 10 feet by 10 feet, your goal that year could be to grow 10 great plants, could be to grow 50 pounds of food, 100 pounds of food. Once you start to learn how to do it,
and you're laughing.
Yeah, at least you're feeding yourself for 4 months of the year.
You're just chuckling your way to the fridge.
Well, the way that the prices that are going up right now in our grocery stores and everything too, like we're pinching pennies now.
Everyone
right?
is.
Like
it's
everyone.
Yeah.
And so to be able to do this for yourself, and yes, it is going to take more time, but am I going to go lay on the couch and watch Netflix or scroll on my phone, or am I going to get outside and get all those benefits that we talked about in our plant therapy episode? Right?
I forget his name, but I read a quote on the internet the other day that if you can take 2 hours out of every day for 30 days, you've now gained 12 days. So in the time you waste, it turns into days very quickly if it's 3 hours a day of wasted time. And working is strenuous, it's hard on your body, but we're feeding those bodies with the work we're putting in. So
I just would say so many people buy gym memberships and pay to go to a gym, and you trying to just maintain your backyard and grow food, half of the time it is true physical labor. Right? Like it's the broad forking alone. Last year could be definitely is the quality of the soil now this year, but broad forking alone, my God, the work if you do that. Then you shovel, like we've moved 25 yards of compost by hand already. Yes, friends and family and this and that, but that's still at least, 5 to 8 a piece here. Like, that's a lot. That's like half your winter, right?
Yeah.
So
like
you
your little guy
have
trained up.
Exactly.
soon.
Get that little shovel going, right?
Once he's won, we'll go.
Once he's won, no
Here's
quitting
your
now,
little
but
wheelbarrow, your little shovel.
Get to work, son.
Yeah.
Goes here when you're done.
He's pretty cute. He's already, he watches everything I do.
Does
He's
he?
very excited
Yeah.
about what I do in the field. And it's,
That's cool.
yeah, I bet you he sees it in a different level that we do, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, literally,
Perspective,
yeah. Just like down on the ground. It's with
Oh,
this.
yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
oh, check it out, Dad. What are you
Not what I meant, but
Literally. Like he's like a foot and a half.
Why is everything so tall? Yeah, you're on level 1, son.
It's like the Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
When that ant, don't bring that up. I think of that ant every time.
Yeah.
Wait, what happened
The
to the
poor
ant?
ant.
At the end of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, the ant saved them.
Oh,
But
right.
gets killed.
By
And
the
it's this big
scorpion.
tragic moment at the end. It's like,
Emotional damage.
it's like you're watching
It is.
Beethoven
Yeah.
or something. It's awful.
Yeah.
Tom doesn't sleep tonight now.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to go watch it and cry myself. That's what I'm going to do.
It's the only way to go to sleep now. Fuck.
Oh, man.
So funny.
So for any new beginners in gardening, what tips would you give?
Firstly, don't give up. Secondly, would be focus on what you know you like to eat. Like, if you don't like eating broccoli,
Don't keep growing it.
Yeah, you're not going to give a crap about that plant growing out
Yeah.
there because you don't want to eat it anyway. Like, you got to want to eat the things that are coming out of these beds.
That's fair.
And plants are kind of funny. It's a lot of fashion with plants is like an animal. Like, not everybody has a ferret, right? Like, it sounds stupid, but don't try to just grow tomatoes every year and be like, I keep fucking killing tomatoes. Like, try peppers, try cucumbers, try this. Like, you will have something that you, weirdly enough, always forget to water, like peppers, but they enjoy it, right? That is, It's
Pretty as a ferret. I wasn't expecting that.
But it's true.
That's the best line of this whole
It
podcast.
really was. Like,
Coming from a man that has multiple cats done and a dog, right? Like that was one thing I really learned to apply was I talk to my plants. I always approach them and be like, who needs water? Do the little weight system. Be like, oh, peppers are good and they're dry as a bone. You're just like, I don't know how you live like this, but okay, right? Like you learn as you kind of go. And that's one big thing is just experiment with so many different plants and then find something like Tom says that you really enjoy eating. I love making my own bruschetta now. I never ever was a fan of eating tomatoes. I love eating tomatoes now. I found this little orange one called a sun sugar and it actually is so sweet it tastes like candy. So when you eat it you're just like, this can't be good for me. There's no way this is good for me. And now I enjoy all the different types of tomatoes and we'll have 9 different varieties this year. We grew 750 pounds last year of them. Like we've learned all these little things, and now I'm just still talking about tomatoes, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
And that's where you started.
Exactly. And
That's
it's cool how you can kind of, even the cucamelon, right? I didn't quit because I kept drowning them and I kept burning them, and I was like, oh, Google, you're easy to grow. Fuck sakes. Like, there's little little things that you start. And the first year I grew cucamelon like 6 feet up a wall, and it's so pretty. Yeah. So now I grow it every year just because it's pretty. I don't even enjoy eating it.
So because they're like pretty bitter.
They are.
They're like sour.
I feel like I want to put them in a martini.
Yeah.
Alex Hendry did some cool stuff.
He
with
did.
It's distilled.
He asks every year about them now too. Them and ground cherries.
Yeah,
so,
that's neat. Yeah, so there's so many things you can do with everything.
And
if you don't care about it because you don't want to eat it, you're not going to do it. So it's like, what are the things you really, really want? Like,
if you enjoy salads.
That little like lettuce sprouting up here behind us. Yeah. And that's exciting. And like to be able to just come out and snip off a bowl and like go in and eat a fresh salad, like that's going to be really neat.
Oh, nothing's better than fresh from the garden, in my opinion. So.
It's true though. You can taste the difference.
You can taste the difference.
And I'll be honest, I have a dog at home and he is spoiled to the food we grow now, so he won't eat grocery store carrots anymore.
Or
he
cucumber.
Needs the farm stuff because in his mouth it's different and he doesn't want it.
You have to peel the stuff from the grocery store to give it to him.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Wow.
He'll eat ours with
he knows, but he'll eat our stuff.
He's huge. He's allowed. I'm not gonna bully him. No.
I mean, those are good things to instill in dogs and humans, right?
It makes you worried though, right? You give him a carrot and he won't eat it, and you're like, and you peel it and then he eats it, and he's like, okay, why? What's on that,
it's
right?
Like, so if you know that, then what are we putting in our bodies that we're buying at the grocery stores? And so is your goal to be able to get to the point where you can be growing stuff year round, and like, because right now you're really
our end goal
focused.
Our end goal, I guess, would be able to afford to live while we do this. Growing year round is a way to get there. The greenhouse is going to change the way we grow. I mean, we've already made some slight errors as far as timing goes with the greenhouse. In like next season, ideally we would have 2 crops of greens out of the greenhouse already, and the tomatoes would be going in now. But we have to have room for kale come August because that will literally live in the greenhouse for our whole winter. And we'll be able to harvest it all year round.
Cool.
So right there, that are a few little steps. Plus there's other, like I read about something called hotbedding. So basically it's a similar concept to us with our lasagna beds, but you're using raw manure instead. And it will heat your greenhouse due to the decomposition enough to keep maybe some smaller, more tender lettuce alive for this winter, as opposed to just like hardy ass kale, right? So
fair enough.
So Dan's recently transitioned to fully Burly Farmer and dad, and you're still juggling full-time work, all the stuff. So what does that look like for you?
I mean, I work for a property maintenance company. I'm very fortunate they allow me to book my own days. So I start early. I'm usually on a job site by 7. I hope to be off by 3 p.m. And then typically I work in the field from 3 to 7 p.m. It's hectic. I mean, it's a lot of work. Hopefully I'm going to adjust my sleep cycle so I can be doing some of the evening work in the morning. And then once harvests come, I'll have the extra 2 or 3 hour window to deal with that, right? Because we're in the giant hustle bustle of getting things set up. But once we're set and we're planted for the first time, we have about a 3-week lull to pick away at all the other little jobs. So it's crazy right now. It'll even out in June, and then we'll start harvesting and it'll get crazy again. So
So you'll enjoy that dip in June.
You know, get out and golf.
It was said to me once that what we're doing is really special, and we need to take more time to realize what we're actually doing. Like, it's crazy. We get so stressed out about it, and we start working and worrying and like rushing around
and planning.
But the reality is, we fed 20 people out of a front yard last year. And there isn't too many all summer. And
it's like families, 20 families.
Yeah. So it's, you can't shake a stick at that. Like that, I don't know. That's the biggest Boy Scout badge a person could ask for, I feel. So, so slowing down is my key, but working hard is still going to be a thing.
Yeah. Yeah, you'll always be a hard worker. It's like it's in your DNA, right?
I was, unfortunately, I was one of those people. I didn't get raised to sit around, so.
I'd say that's fortunately.
Well, I know, right? I don't know. There's
Right?
a lot of
Depends on how
people
you
who
look
seem
at
to
it.
do all right by not doing too much.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That wouldn't be a fulfilling life.
No,
for
it
you.
wouldn't. It'd drive me nuts.
And that's the kicker, right? We both fell in love with something. We
Yeah.
found something we really enjoy. And
Yeah.
everything else in my mind is a bonus.
Yeah.
Right? So like us trying to pay our bills is the long-term goal,
Mhm.
but doing something you love for the rest of your life, like, isn't that everyone's dream? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
right?
I would
And
hope
then
so.
everything else that people are saying about us is, like Tom said, right? We're doing something inspirational. We've had people just stop by the mountain and just tell us they're proud of what we're up to and things like that. And old men shake our hands and be like, this is amazing. You're just like,
Yeah.
thank you, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
it's, you have and find other reasons than just, I love it,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was like when the
Yeah.
pumpkin guy strolled in the other day.
Eddie.
Eddie stopped by,
Yeah.
and he referred to it as a farm, right? Because
Yeah.
we get the word garden a lot,
Yeah.
and it doesn't insult us because technically it's a garden, but to us it's a farm.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
producing enough food now that
Yeah.
I'm done with the moniker of garden.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. You're
I'll
not.
teach
You're not
you
the
to
Burly
garden.
gardeners.
No, I'll teach you to garden.
And,
Yeah.
and even,
I don't run a garden.
Even if we start small, the end goal was never to be the Burly Gardener. We're
Yeah.
aiming to be farmers,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
we are nice, and we can still continue to talk about the. So
Yeah, we
we're
can,
one of our biggest goals is to do and start the first community farm.
Mm.
So like we have all this, like we were saying, unused parts of Charlottetown,
Yeah.
and once it's our system isn't to replace how everybody else does their stuff. Everyone else still has, a responsibility to do what they're doing. We're just trying to show a way that other people can try to help.
Right.
Right? That's
Yeah.
simple as that.
Yeah.
So we're not taking anyone's jobs. We're just showing that this lawn that's basically an old shitty baseball diamond that you still mowed for the past 30 years for some stupid reason could actually be something that fed 1,000 people in Charlottetown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
And how
Yeah.
cool is that?
Right?
And that's such a way to bring community together.
Exactly.
It creates one pretty
It
much
does.
instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much the minute you put seeds in ground, you have some form of community there.
Yeah.
Whether
Yeah.
it's in the soil or above it, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Like I walk Cashy, my dog. Like there's a community garden just up here, and it's crazy how many people are just.
Or Labar.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There's like so many people, and they're always talking to each other,
Yep.
and it's always like a bustling little community there. And I'm like, we need more of that.
Yeah.
We definitely do. Yeah.
And we got asked to do the 2 kids workshops
Yep.
again the beginning of the summer, June 4th, I think.
we
14th.
should put
One of
that
those
on
2.
a calendar
We did
somewhere.
put it on the calendar.
14th
just
is my
not-
birthday. It's the 4th.
It's the 4th. So June 4th.
Yeah.
Last year we did one of the parks. This year he's doing Victoria Park and I'm doing Olabar, and we just show them how you can plant the way we plant, and we supply as many plants as we have extra, and we do the little boxes there.
Cool.
But this is there's other people that are doing other programs and then involving us, like you guys, right? It's slowly becoming a community,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Even if we just want to talk about growing one, we've started that, right? Like
Yeah.
it's
Sure.
pretty.
Sure.
doing
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
We are doing it. You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you guys are pretty active on social media too. Like you have the the buds,
99%
but the
not
one-
very
the
much.
live
Yeah.
Live
Instagram
dirt.
live, yeah.
Our live dirt
And you
show.
guys have
Yeah.
like a lot of like every once in a while I tune in and you guys have like a lot of questions and even just building that community.
Yeah, we got
like
what
that's
was
pretty good.
Our best show, I think we had 100 people watch.
Yeah.
For
Wow.
an hour and a half.
That's
Yeah.
great.
So like, and all we're doing is
Just
drinking
drinking
beer
beer.
and like planting seeds.
We're just
Yeah.
trying to bring you along, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
the biggest influence,
Yeah.
right?
Well, the behind the scenes stuff is.
Why not,
We're
right?
that.
And we're like another thing is like you were asking there. We're not part of this world. We never were. We never brought up in it. We were never growing up in it. We just found something we enjoy, and now we're trying to apply it throughout Charlottetown and or just to our own lives, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like having other people ask us questions and I hope it gives them a little inspiration to just try from nothing as well, right? Because Tom said it, we were dirt farmers for the first 2 years. Don't just stop, like just improve,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't
Small
quit.
tweaks can go a
Yeah.
long way too,
It-
right?
and
It's not
they
a
really
huge
did.
overhaul.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's cool. So I gotta ask. A recent picture that you guys posted got an awful lot of eyes
Here's my
on
beer.
it. Whose idea was that one?
Well, So
And what was holding those hats up?
enforced it. I said that we had to do this because we couldn't get chirped again.
We were
this
getting
year.
ragged on by other firms on social
Constantly
media
for like 2 years. So
for 2 years. So we did it. It was double-sided tape holding the hats up.
yeah,
And
yeah.
the algorithm really liked the dudes in a greenhouse,
Yeah,
apparently.
yeah.
'Cause
Got a
it
lot of
went
shares.
everywhere.
Yeah.
The amount of texts we
Your
got that were
moms
like,
so proud.
oh, my sister was mortified.
Yeah.
That way. Both of her friends commented they wanted a calendar, and it made her very, very uncomfortable.
Yeah, we had a half dozen people actually ask for the
Yeah.
calendar. So it's like,
God.
Well, there's an idea.
all right,
Maybe
it's donation.
side
picture.
Yeah.
Really creative.
But yeah,
I'd rather an OnlyFans, to be
Right?
honest, like than a
Fuck.
calendar.
It would make you
That'll end up at your grandmother's house, a calendar. She'll never find an
Absolutely.
OnlyFans.
Absolutely.
No.
but at least it comes down at some point, right? Like,
Internet is
Until
forever.
they want
You're
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, no, that's pretty funny.
oh fuck.
You're right.
But you know what? We had fun
But you
with
had
it.
fun, yeah. Like,
And
that's a big part of
we're
it.
having a good laugh with everything we're doing because we're finding, like I said, the amount of influence and people that are talking to us and
Mhm.
mentioning what we're doing or thinking about us. Thank you again. Like
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
you know, it is humbling.
Yeah.
It really is.
Yeah,
So
that's cool. How do you divvy up the responsibilities and the tasks? So like when we talked about the social media,
I've said
like,
this
you say
about
Tom's the guy,
fucking 500 times now. So
but, yeah,
it's funny because when we first started this, the best way to describe this is you have a ship.
yeah.
And you can't have two captains, you can't have two first mates.
Mhm.
But the captain and the first mate, no matter what, always are fully responsible for their parts.
Yeah.
Either can do or assist with either person,
Mm.
but at any point, neither considers them higher than the other.
Correct.
Yeah.
You need both of them to run and manage that ship.
Yeah.
And that's how we've done this so far.
Yeah.
Like especially when I was working up to a certain point, it was pretty stressful trying to get everything.
Mhm.
But this year, man,
Yeah, we got a fighting chance. of
We
making
got a fighting
something
chance.
crazy happen this
Yeah.
year, to be honest. 'Cause,
Yeah.
I mean, 2 years ago, I think when the pandemic struck, I was off that summer.
Yeah.
And we did very well that summer.
Yeah.
And then the following summer, I had a job, Dano had a job, and then
Absolutely.
Jackson happened.
and
He came into the world.
Yeah.
And
July 7th, perfect timing. Yeah.
yeah, second harvest of the year,
Yeah.
and here
Baby.
we go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
let's do this. Yeah. So the first couple of weeks,
Yeah.
Tom picked up a lot of slack,
Yeah.
which he, knew.
Mhm.
I was just going to be basically
Yeah, it wasn't a surprise. but
standing
we knew
standing
the baby
out
was
cold
coming.
in the field most of the time, right? Spraying
Yeah.
me with the hose and off I go to work again.
Yeah.
But like, that's it, right?
Mhm.
And again, it comes back to we enjoy this.
Yeah.
So like, yes, there's stressful parts because you might consider it a job or responsibility or anything like that. But we smile most of the time. We joke about it. We laugh.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, when you're running a business with one of your best friends, it seems
that's
like,
it,
True.
right?
Like, it's-
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think me and Dan are really good at delegating stuff. Like, as he said, his goal this season is to make sure Brackley's taken care of, which is the plot next to his house.
Mhm.
My goal is to make sure the mount is taken care of. We're going to split the greenhouse.
and then the other two spots.
And then the other two, well, they're low maintenance.
They're low
spots, too.
maintenance,
So,
which is also part of our plan.
Yeah.
Mm.
So,
Yeah.
we're pretty good. And at this point, it's kind of like second nature. Like, we know we got to cultivate every single bed once a week. We know
Yeah.
there's always
Yeah.
trays to start. We know there's always a transplant.
Yeah.
And then
Mhm.
once harvest happens, every Thursday night we're in the barn bagging. So we
Exactly.
know that. It's
Yeah.
not a question. It's
Yeah.
just go there and do it. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that doesn't happen off. The first year we were running around chickens like
Yeah,
like,
like,
what are we
we're just
doing?
like, oh my
Yeah.
god, there's no vegetables.
Yeah.
Microgreens.
Take the kale to Queen Street. Maybe
Oh
we can
my
move it.
God. Yeah, the first couple of years.
Yeah.
The first couple of years are rough.
Yeah.
Number one,
Yeah.
when you go and you start tilling up that soil or whatever you're going to do, just don't plant right into it. Don't,
Yeah,
there's
take some time.
amendments you got to do to it.
Mhm.
There's things, even to cover over the grass and prep everything out and get ready for the following year. Like,
Mhm.
doing it smart, taking your time with it, because you can't rush plants,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That's number one. You can't tell you to grow faster, right? All you can do is assist in how it's going to grow and maintain it, right?
Yeah.
It's going to do what it's going to do. Like even all the plants that we put in the ground and all the Dan went around and counted because why not? I was shifting everything to harden it off, and a lot of our trays are either 72 cell. We have a couple 128s, but a lot of things are already potted up and in like the solo cups and like your pots there, so they're
Yeah.
in like 20s. So we have 2,500 plants.
Oh, wow.
So when you're moving them, tray after tray of 20s and 25s at a time, it takes a little while, right?
Yeah,
and
I bet.
watering them and things like that.
Yeah.
Like that's how our cycle, our high intensity part works. We do the square foot high intensity urban farm.
Yeah.
We do everything in unused parts of Charlottetown, and we have way too many plants. But then when you go and you plug in the fields, you're just
No
like,
such thing.
everything's gone. You're
It
just
makes
like,
us
wow.
look good when half them die.
No.
Then you still have enough.
That's right, and that's
Well,
it.
you've got to
going
plan
kill
for that
things.
too,
You're
and like
going
you
to
said,
kill
like
things.
you've already taken everybody's money,
Yeah.
so you need
Kinda
to make
do
sure
that.
that there's going to be something to get
And that's,
in return.
you know, I think that's something that was the hardest part to learn, was learning how to plan a successful harvest that doesn't stop.
Yeah.
A lot of gardeners, like, and you know, you'll do, when this grows, Steph, and you get a bunch of food out of it, and then you cut it all down, you say, do you know what, we're done for the year. You still did great. But for us, that doesn't work. So
Yeah.
we have to know the minute stuff's ready, the minute we can have something to replace it, so that it doesn't stop rolling, right? So some of our beds go through 3 rotations of crops in a season. Some of them go through 2 with double interplants on the sides. And for anybody who doesn't know, interplanting is the process of planting companion plants next to each other so that they both benefit.
Yeah.
So we will mix all of our crops. Like the mount is planned out to the point where bed 1 is a companion plant for 2, and it runs the entire way up. So every one of these plants should be benefiting from just being near each other, in theory.
Right.
Even the insects or the pollen it might give off, anything, right? Or the root system. It actually will assist with other plants because they enjoy being next to each other.
Right.
And one rule of thumb is if it tastes good together, it grows well together.
Oh,
That's
Cool, eh?
interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So
Except for broccoli and tomatoes.
except for broccoli.
It's like the one rule that doesn't work. It's the one thing we
Yeah.
need to do.
but yeah, so
do
like
they go together though?
Oh,
What kind
you
of
chopped up a
recipe
bunch
is
of broccoli and
see,
tomatoes.
thank you.
and put it in
That's
salad.
my argument, right? Yeah. You either make a tomato salad or a broccoli salad.
Yeah,
You don't
right.
make a broccoli tomato salad. So
We're gonna have to make one this summer now.
yeah.
Competition
out.
of salads. Awful day.
Sounds like a great day.
Yeah.
Oh, that's too funny.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
It's crazy, eh? Yeah. But again, you develop your own system, and without doing it, you can't just read of somebody else's and be like, I can do that, right? It's trying to figure out what works for you and what you all of a sudden become connected with. I can go and I can grow tomatoes and I can grow peppers really well.
This
and
guy loves tomatoes.
I do. And it's again, I never really even enjoyed eating them.
Yeah.
But I love growing tomatoes. I found that weird little connection and pattern with it. And when I work on them now, I can clean right through them faster than most people I know.
Yeah.
Not Peter.
No.
Not Peter.
I think they should have a tomato off next
Oh!
Peter,
You
you're
can't
not
use
allowed to
chemicals.
your Van Camp and stuff. Though.
Yeah.
You heard it here. Challenge on.
It is.
Man.
Tomato warfare.
See, and he still knows more. Because no matter what I do, it's 22, 24 years of knowledge versus
It's hard to make that up.
4, 5.
Valid.
Right? Like but my record's 15 and a half feet.
Mm-hmm.
But again, inside a little greenhouse that wasn't this big.
Yeah.
Right? And it's cool. Like he taught me how to string it and how to move it and things like that. And that's all I did was apply that science. It's pretty nifty. Yeah.
I like it.
So for those that haven't gotten your box before, what kind of like vegetables do you guys plan out for?
Oh,
Do you guys change it up every once in a while, or is it
well,
always
this-
kind of a key?
We're gonna spoil it for Julie here. It was meant to be a surprise.
Close yours.
No,
Earmuffs.
this year
Earmuffs.
we try and keep leafy greens in every week. At least one zucchini, just so we can get them off the farm. And,
Sorry.
leafy greens, we try and keep beets, carrots, hackeri around all the time. We'll have peppers probably come August, tomatoes in August as well.
Yeah.
Then we got like broccoli. We are doing eggplant this year. We have
doing
okra this
eggplant,
year.
okra. Bok choy.
Bok choy.
I'm going through some of the best.
We
Corn.
had a
like
lot of patty
7
pans last year.
Yeah,
Lots
we
of
have like
patty
7 times
pans.
different
Yeah.
kinds of
It's-
squashes.
Like
we
lots of
we
squashes,
have
yeah.
34 different types of peppers, 8 different types of tomatoes, 9 different types of tomatoes, 3 different types of radishes, 2 different types of beets, and the list goes on. It's
Wow.
like
Wow.
50 different types of produce, but then if you add all the varieties, we're 90 something.
Wow.
Yeah.
So like, and it's again, it's such a small area, right? Like the mount looks so big, but the mount is only 60 feet wide by 80 feet long.
Yeah.
So like it's not a huge area. Most people's houses are about that size.
Yeah.
It would blow a beginner gardener's mind.
It
though.
does.
Yeah.
Like our
blow.
workshop class last year was floored.
Yeah.
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 Well, like, how do you manage that? Because everything rotates in different times and stuff like that, too. You kind of have to be on top of it.
Math.
Oh, gosh.
And you have a
So
big
he
thing
built-
on the wall.
So
in your
we
garage,
actually
right?
condensed it this year because
No.
we have like
So you can take it with you.
we made 10 different
It's fine.
binders of all
Ah.
of them, and then we have them in the
Yeah.
greenhouses
Makes
and our
sense.
cars and things like that. So wherever we are, we can just
Yeah.
look through the rotation.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the math side for him, right? So like, I picked 4 or 5 different peppers and 4 different types of tomatoes, but I'm not messing with the math, right?
Yeah.
I don't care what we grow. Like,
Right.
just- you do the math, and then here's the list. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, cool, we're growing this. Oh, red bear and green onion. What the hell is that, right? Like, it's
Yeah.
kind of a
We'll find
surprise to me
out.
too, right? But
So
like,
red green onion's gonna look awesome.
it is.
Yeah.
But that's, that's part of the shit part, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
Has to.
Yeah,
Has to.
well,
You
it's
can't
a
sit there
long
and
week.
debate which type of radish is going to be better. Like it's right. It takes probably a month to actually go and plot that all out, if not
I
longer.
bet.
Yeah,
These
it's
5
40
Ps.
hours and about 15 jugs of coffee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Like it's
Who's counting?
a lot of number crunching.
Yeah, it is a lot of
Yeah.
number crunching, and it's a lot
Yeah.
of looking at, weather trends and stuff and being like, can we realistically have peppers by mid-July? No, probably not. Not unless we start them in January.
Yeah.
Right.
There's certain things you just got to start backing up way too far, and
Yeah.
we just aren't scaled properly to go that far yet.
No.
Yeah.
I do a lot of pretty much all the seedlings in my living room.
Yeah.
Right. So I have those little greenhouses you put inside, and just with his math and now mine on cycling the seedlings, and when we got to pot them up and when we shift them, we were able to actually put 2,400
Yeah, we
plants through
maxed
my
your
living room.
house this
Wow.
year, big time.
Like
Yeah.
everything right from 2 pot ups most of the time, like insane.
Yeah.
And that's, I have a good sized house, but
Yeah.
I did steal the living room from my sister.
Yeah.
But it's, it has to be done, right? And I'm only
Yeah.
here for 3 months, and then it all gets taken down and put away because then everything goes outside anyways. And
Right.
I
You
don't
have to
go
start
back
it
at
somewhere.
it till March the next year. But yeah, it can be accomplished. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people
Can be
can
done.
just
Well, yeah, you two are proof.
We're at it, so
we're at it.
You're
Yeah.
making it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Man, now I just want a bunch of fresh vegetables in my fridge. So-
I won't lie, that basil in the
So-
corner's driving me nuts. Like I just want to pinch the top.
You gotta
off
cut
so-
it. You gotta cut
I'm just like, it's getting stringy.
Yeah.
Do something about it.
it. So her
Once we're done recording, we could do a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
tour.
Yeah.
And you
Because
can
they
give
had
some,
to
give some
by-
feedback.
I'm sitting here like,
It's out of the-
cringy on that
Give me
basil.
my shears. Too funny. Oh, I love it. Oh man, you both have given us just so much knowledge, and the passion that you have is incredible. I love it. I think it's really something that we need here in PEI, and I hope it keeps growing. It's just wild. Yeah, like because I'm easy enough. I'm a renter, right, in Charlottetown, and I'm like, oh, I can't do anything because
Yeah.
I'm a renter, and I just make excuses. But then I have friends like Steph who have things like this, and I like supporting you and being able to I'm like, if I'm gonna grow it myself, then I'm probably not gonna buy your CSA box. That could be a future thing. Who knows?
That's great, though.
But
Yeah, exactly.
it all helps and it all adds to it. But I would much rather show up at your house on Friday night or Saturday morning and have
And
a
get-
chat with some friends
There you
and
go.
get some fresh vegetables than go to the grocery store and buy stuff that I'm like, where did this come from? And it doesn't taste nearly as good.
No.
And you guys challenge me because then I'm like, what am I gonna make this week? Because now,
The
like
box
based
is
on the
a
box,
surprise,
right? I'm
right?
like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, what are we gonna have for meals this week? And then that kind of keeps it interesting too,
Well,
because you get
that's-
into your habits and your rhythms.
and what you want to eat, what
Yeah.
you want to make, and all that jazz. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the best part, right?
Yeah.
You have all these different types of produce coming in, and just like being in the kitchen, right?
Yeah.
It influences you to actually cook now, right?
Yeah.
And or cook different things out of
Mhm.
your element, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, it does that a lot for me. I make really mean kale chips now. I said earlier, I do.
I love kale chips.
I love
Find
making.
something to do with the kale.
Oh my god! I tried eating it so many different ways. Kale chips, like
Kale
everything
chips,
else,
all
is
the way.
just
Yeah.
disappointing.
Yeah.
But bruschetta, I am
Mhm.
so excited whenever the garlic and the onion and everything comes up, because I always make my own bruschetta for probably like 10 weeks.
Yeah.
I shouldn't, but it's every Sunday, every Tuesday, pretty much bruschetta. And then I
So
have
those
everything.
are bruschetta days? Good
Well,
to know.
it's just yeah.
Noted.
So it's at 4:30 or 5.
Dan's day off on Sunday. Yeah. Nachos. I love making nachos,
Yeah.
and then salads. Just having, like you said, nothing better than fresh greens, right?
Yeah.
Like we grow 5 different types of lettuces. And the salad mix is probably one of the best, and it's just so easy to plant. You just sprinkle the seeds in, and it grows. And once it gets about 6-8 inches tall, you cut it all, and it comes back again. Like, and I could run out at any point at my own will and make myself a salad. Like, that's so cool, right?
Yeah.
Those are such little influences that you want to do.
Yeah. Love
Gets
it.
me way too excited. Right?
Ready for it.
I mean, there's worse things you'd be excited about.
True. True.
I mean, what do you think kept those hats on?
Oh, fuck.
Was it two-sided tape?
Yeah. Was it two-sided tape?
I don't think we'll ever know for sure.
No one will ever know.
No.
Yeah,
Oh,
definitely
man.
sent that to a few girlfriends.
I bet
Did you
I'm
see
glad-
that? You're
I'm
welcome.
glad it all went around.
Well, but that's the funniest part too.
Well, that's what social media is for, is a laugh at the end of the day. If you take it
100%.
too seriously, it'll eat you up.
Oh,
So,
God,
Yeah.
yes.
you know, you want to chirp us for not being naked on Naked Gardening Day. Well, then we're going to get naked on Naked
Yeah.
Gardening Day. And, you know,
And
next
everyone's
year,
gonna love it.
whoever bows out is going to hear from us.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
But ironically, we that greenhouse was our 5-year plan 5 years ago.
Ah.
We
Yeah.
told ourselves that if we wanted to continue doing this, we needed
needed
a
a
greenhouse
greenhouse
at
for
least
5 years.
1,000 square feet, right?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So yeah, it's I
Made it
think the
happen.
first time I ever did a 5-year plan.
And it came true.
And well,
We got her.
that's what Samara keeps going on
Yeah.
about. Is like, you need to stop and take a look at what you boys are accomplishing and what you made it so far,
Yeah.
because this was a beer or 2 years ago in the barn as a joke, right? And
It was, yeah.
it wasn't a joke. It was just.
It was me on the treadmill too much, trying to lose weight,
Holy
watching
fuck,
YouTube
I remember
videos, and I
that.
got way too inspired by a couple farmers
Oh,
in BC. And here
You
we are, so-
coming by my house after the gym for 2 hours for us to rake some beds and get some shit set up. Yeah.
I love it.
We'll
I
be
love
giggling about this in another 5
Yeah,
years.
oh yeah.
Good. We'll come back and we'll do a reunion.
I was
podcast.
gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah. We have it on
We'll
tape
all
now.
walker ourselves in
Yeah.
Yeah.
do whatever
Yeah.
the form of a podcast
Don't
is at
broad
that
fork.
point.
Yeah, right.
No.
Yeah. Hi,
Yeah.
it's over.
Did it.
Oh, man.
So thinking back over those 5 years, then what would you say you're most proud of?
Ooh, that's a tough question.
I'll let you go first on that one.
Fuck.
And then you can't
Fuck.
have the same answers.
I
and
know,
you
that's
have to
why
make
I'm
up your
letting
own.
you go first.
I don't know. Making my own impression, I guess. Our own impression. But us trying to do something that, no matter what, and I still hear it to this day, that can't be done. Our mothers thought we were crazy the first 2 years. Like, you guys are nuts to try to do this. And now both of them are part of our CSA. Mine is.
My mom just
Yours
comes and
always
gets
and
the
buys.
extras.
Like,
Yeah.
it's, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
just seeing something like that, it almost. What did Samara say the other day? We dreamt it into fruition. I think it was.
Yeah,
we
manifested
always we
it.
did.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the word. We manifested
We literally
it. Yeah.
managed.
Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of
Yeah.
hard work and planning and failure
Yeah.
along the way, but
Yeah.
here we are. Like,
and all
we're,
those naysayers, but you just kept
and
going.
it's
and said,
always
no.
we're always going to have one. It doesn't matter if we
100%.
hit 10,000 or 100,000 pounds of food. Well, you
Yeah.
can't be this big. Well, we're not
Yeah.
trying to be like
Yeah.
that, right?
Yeah.
We're just trying to show what is possible.
Mhm.
And I think that's I guess my most proud moment so
Yeah.
far
It's a great
Yeah.
one.
is
It's a good one.
Yeah.
yeah.
I guess this is time to put up or shut up. So I'm most proud of the fact that on the books we outgrew yield-wise the average potato farmer on Prince Edward Island last year. So the average potato yield per acre is 11,000 pounds.
Mhm.
We grew, what did we grow? 8,200?
We were 7,500.
7,500
Wow.
off
3/8 of an acre.
3/8 of an acre. So we
Mhm.
You could
We did.
2.9 times that, and then we'd be an acre.
Yeah.
So we'd be 2,100 pounds.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
So
21,000
on the
pounds.
books,
21,000
on the
pounds.
numbers.
Yeah.
You know, to be able to say we did that out of, you know, the sweat off our brow and
Mhm.
a little bit of know-how
Yeah.
and some sustainable methods. We don't use gasoline. We don't use fertilizer.
Yeah.
I don't know.
A
That's
whole lot
something
of
that's
grit.
that I hold that one down. Like I would get, you
Yeah.
know, I would get a tattoo based on that somehow if I could figure that out. But
Write it
you
up
know,
too.
like potato with like a red, the no smoking sign. Either way, that's something. It's a brag, and I say it a lot, but it's something to think about. It makes your head think, like, how can these two guys part time outgrow per acre per pound a giant commercial operation?
Right.
Yeah.
But we did it. And no one can take that from us. We have the weights written in a book.
Yeah.
We've recorded everything.
Yeah.
So, that's my proudest moment.
That's
and
awesome.
as an Islander, it means something when you can beat out the man, I guess.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's how I run. So
Someone said it to me the other day. The fact that we are doing something we love, we're already beating the system.
Pretty much, yeah.
Absolutely.
We're checking out of the matrix.
That's a big thing, right?
Yeah.
Everything else again.
Yeah. How many people do you talk to who hate what they do every day?
And they
spend
have to,
40
right?
hours doing something that they just despise.
And even at the
it's
end of the
just
day, you feel like you've accomplished nothing. You feel like you've helped no one, not even yourself.
It's the story of the man who works for 60 years and dies the day after he retires.
Yeah.
Isn't that ironic?
Yeah. It is, though. But
Right?
you give your entire existence to this employment that gives you zero fulfillment. So when that leaves, it takes your existence with you. And that's really unfortunate. That's not something that's ever going to happen to me. So
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. I love
feel
that.
like it's good for our listeners too that are entrepreneurs or thinking about taking the entrepreneur journey. Like the fact that you guys started small and then slowly scaled up, depending on your need and your growth, I think is really impactful for new entrepreneurs as well.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You can't jump off the cliff all at once.
No, don't do that.
When we started, it's still out of our own pocket. We're just at a point now where the farm is paying for itself. And I guess as a small business owner, if you can accomplish that in any aspect and then be that close to paying yourself from something you're doing, you're winning already, right?
Yeah.
It's when you jump off the cliff and you rely on, I need to make the mortgage payment. That's where you put yourself up in this weird, stressful situation of putting so much need, right? And it can end badly sometimes. So
you might lose while you started doing it.
Yeah,
right.
100%.
And if you lose the
just put
enjoyment
too much
of
pressure
it,
on yourself.
Yeah.
then you'll never want to do it again. So
we started small, but we're
don't bite more than you can chew, right?
Yeah.
Simple as that. Mom
Exactly.
teaches us all that. Don't bite more than you can chew, and that's
your
one
time.
big thing, right? Like
clean your plate at the Chinese
clean
buffet.
your plate at the
No,
Every time.
every time. Don't you leave that food behind.
Man. Yeah.
Now I want some chicken balls.
Salads and
It's
chicken
funny how
balls.
your mind always goes
Yeah.
there when you say Chinese food.
Right.
Really though.
Chicken balls or nothing else.
Yeah. Our poor vegetarian over here.
Oh. We'll
Nothing
get you
wrong
like
with
a
that.
harvest
Yeah.
chicken ball or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Chicken
There's so many
balls.
places.
Please, someone make those. Oh my goodness.
I want it.
Yeah.
I want it.
You can only. I'll take a small percentage from whoever makes that.
Yeah. Please, just
I
one.
literally
It's not
just
gonna
want
be-
a box of chicken balls.
Yeah.
Every time you sell a box, I get a box. It'll
Yeah.
be fine.
Done and done.
Pallet just shows up one day. There's 1,000 in here.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'll trade veggies for my chicken balls.
Yeah.
Deal. Sold.
Anytime.
Love it.
Sold.
Just need Cashew to stop jumping in your bed.
Oh,
that was
Oh,
funny.
special dog.
special.
They're all fired up. It always is like that.
Yeah.
Took me probably 3 years to teach Layla not to walk through the beds. So
Yeah.
3 years.
Wow.
Patience.
He's
Patience.
usually a good boy, just excited.
Yeah,
That's his
new
thing.
friends.
Yeah.
He's like, oh.
He
Yeah.
usually doesn't, but yeah.
Yeah, like I come over here every week and it's the same thing
Yeah.
every week. It's just like, she's here, she's here,
Yeah.
she's here, she's here.
Yeah.
It's like,
Visitors,
dude,
visitors.
chill out.
Chill out.
He's a sweet boy.
Yeah, that's good.
You want to ask the zinger?
Zinger.
It's not really
Sing
a
us.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
the
the
hardest
The
question.
nudie photo was the zinger. No.
I knew I was going
I
to
could
read
hear
that.
the
I was
zinger.
like, I'm not putting that on the list of questions
That
I
was a
send
good
them
one.
in advance.
That was a good
That's
one.
good. I liked it.
So, what does self-care mean to you?
Oh.
And how do you practice self-care?
Well, working in the garden actually has been my downtime for a long time. Whenever I used to be stressed and things like that, I'd go work in the garden or just like going to the farm. Or I used to have a bunch of plants. I still have a bunch of plants all around my backyard. I kind of turned my backyard into what I try to accomplish as an oasis, right? So just to show that you don't need land and raised beds and things like that. Everything's in pots most of the time, right? And I always found myself just kind of doing something that you enjoy, I guess is the best way to think of it, right? Like if it makes you smile and you fulfill or feel fulfillment at the end of the day, like that is self-care, I think, right?
Yeah.
Like it's treating yourself the way you want to treat others.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
A lot of people fall shy of that. They
Yeah.
help all day long and then they don't take care of themselves. So
Exactly.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah.
Self-care for me. I do a lot of hiking in the woods, and every now and again I do a little bit of grounding, like I practice a little bit of grounding. Just getting your bare feet on the soil, changing some electrons with some dirt, you know, getting out the bad, getting in some good, doing some really deep breathing. I've, in the last like 6 months, I started practicing just breathing out of my nose and making sure it's really deep to the bottom of my lungs. And I find that calms me down in like 96% of situations now. That paired with hiking and grounding, that's pretty much my idea of self-care. Brushing out my beard every now and again, you know, that helps too. So.
The grooming.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
You got some special beard stuff that you
I
use?
do. I get it from, I should know their name. The goat soap company in Oyster Bed.
Oh,
Oh,
yes.
Yeah, I go up
Good
there.
stuff.
Their
Yeah.
beard products are
Yeah.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
Okay. I always they have like all their little sandwich board signs when you're driving down
Yeah.
the road. They're like, "Did you forget? Did you
Yeah.
come in?
Did you get soap yet?"
Such,
It's like,
such a
I
cute
think
spot.
I
That's
have
clever.
some.
That is clever.
Good, good.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a cute spot.
It's great soap too. Like
Yeah.
I wouldn't regret. I pretty much only use their like bathing products, I guess,
Okay.
really. So
Yeah.
like I noticed a giant difference
Yeah.
in real soap versus the synthetic stuff that's
Yeah.
in brushes.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Absolutely. Yeah. So big proponent of supporting local and staying
Yeah.
natural
That's
too.
it.
And that's it.
Yeah.
We've tried to support local for the past little while,
Yeah.
even before the pandemic and stuff, because well, we are local, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
and that's
It's got to mean something. If you're gonna
It
say
should.
it's got to mean something.
You gotta-
So
yeah.
You can
Don't be a
use it as a
hypocrite.
hashtag, but
Mhm.
yeah,
you know, going to the mom and pop shop for some beef, even if you can't afford it every paycheck, if you get there twice a month for some local beef, some local produce, it's going to make a difference in the long run.
yeah,
And you'll notice the difference in your life too, right? Like those products tend to be of a higher quality than some of the stuff you get elsewhere. So the money is kind of irrelevant at the end of the day. If you can fit into your budget. I mean, everybody's tight right now, right? So it is what
everything's
it is.
getting expensive. So.
Yeah. Prioritizing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. So for people who are maybe just learning about you from this podcast, and those who aren't following you in different ways, where can they follow you, find you, stay connected?
We're on Instagram.
Instagram, Facebook. We also have a website. If you Google the Burly Farmer and it's not us, then you spelled it wrong.
Yeah. No E.
No E. That's a
Yeah.
form of tobacco and it's not us.
Yeah.
But, we're at
get
the
that a
Burly
lot.
Farmer on Instagram. It's www.theburlyfarmer.com and the Burly Farmer on Facebook, I guess, is what you would search. So
Excellent. Yeah.
Awesome.
And you're always posting when you're going to do your live dirt and
Yes,
things like
yeah.
that too. So people can follow you there and know where
And
to
ask
find
questions. That's it. When we're doing and just like I said, bringing people along, ask us questions. If you have any concerns of what you're trying to accomplish this year, call us up.
Yeah.
Like honestly, we don't mind trying to help people out.
you. Or if they
We're-
see you in the garden at the mound,
Well,
just
and
stop in,
that's it.
say
Come
hi.
by, see what our
I mean,
setup
those
is.
are great
or-
at some points, but like
Yeah.
we have
But if
work
I
to
look
do,
like I'm
too.
working hard,
Yeah.
or
Like,
just
if I'm sweaty with no shirt on, I'm
Yeah.
not approachable.
Yeah, but you
Fair.
grab a shovel or a rake, we'll
Right?
probably start talking.
Well, there you
to
go.
That's
So,
it too.
There you go.
You're right.
right?
Yeah.
Like there's always something to do, and
Yeah.
we do have like our own system.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody else that does what we do.
Mhm.
So if you want to ask us, please come
Yeah.
by.
Yeah. You're
Feel
like
free
special
to.
unicorns.
Right?
I like
Homemade
Prefer to be a
unicorns.
special Bigfoot.
Yeah.
They're
Okay,
equally as rare. Like,
It's true.
Yeah.
Okay.
A Bigfoot. I like it.
Well, I mean, it makes more sense of unicorn.
I mean, yeah. Fine.
Special
You can be
unicorns.
Bigfoot.
Yeah. I am the
Fine.
special Sasquatch of the woods. Thank
I like
you.
it. I like it. That's why you're always hiking. I
Yeah.
see.
Yeah, see?
Makes
Yeah.
sense.
People cite me all the time.
Bigfoot sighting and PEI.
Brookvale Trail, Bigfoot. It's just like me panting.
Yeah.
Can't do it. Trying to keep up to the dog.
Yeah, he just drags.
Love it.
He's
Awesome.
a beast.
Yeah.
He is such a beast.
Yeah. Well, my cheeks hurt from this conversation.
Well, that's good. Yeah,
Beans
that's
was
good.
great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
thank you so much for
Hey,
saying
no,
yes.
thank you very much.
You
for
were on
having
our
us.
wish list of guests probably from day one. We made a big list of like who are all the people that we want to get in
all
here.
blushy and weird.
Just
You're
lay back.
alright.
Yeah.
Just stay on the camera. Yeah.
Yeah. No, we appreciate what you're doing. I
Yeah.
think it's really great.
We're glad
So
to be here. So
Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you
so
very
much.
much. Yeah.
awesome. So wrap it up.
Another episode done.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Doodles.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of Thriving Tides. Hit the subscribe button to never miss an episode.
Follow us, Thriving Tides, on Facebook, Instagram, and now YouTube to stay connected. And remember, don't fight the rip currents.